Hey everybody, it is Saturday, September 26th, I believe. I have my phone, I could check. Yes, it's the 26th, and it's time for my sketchbook review. I just got back from a study session that didn't go the best, so I need a break, and I'm gonna do this, and then maybe ink a quick drawing, and then I think I'm gonna get back into studying. So let's go ahead and get straight into this so I can get back to work. Couple things about this week is I have decided to do Inktober. So I kind of struggled. I was like, well, what am I gonna show them as far as Inktober goes? I was like, do I want to show them or wait until I have all my scanned stuff and put it up and show them individually? And I was like, well, I think for my sketchbook reviews I'm gonna go ahead and show what I'm working on, because it's not gonna be, some of them will be complete, but it's gonna still be my process of what I'm working on throughout the week. But I'll have like scanned nice copies to actually post for the actual Inktober tag. So, and I'm getting ahead now because I start my weekly testing on Monday. So I have a test on Monday, and then I have one the following Monday, and then I have somewhere in there a HESI exam. So I just figured I would go ahead and start Inktober early just to kind of get it done and going. So let's see. Okay, we stopped here with my Alphonse Mucha style Piper. Yeah, I believe, because I did these ones. So that's where I stopped. And then I was kind of stumped for ideas, and I was live streaming. So somebody told me to do a human version of Negaduck. So I went ahead and did one. I kind of like the expression and everything. I kind of imagined him like this very gaunt, sort of thin looking guy who's kind of unkempt and like has like short hair, but like it's messy short hair, and that's kind of what I was going for. But then I was like, eh. So it was just a quick doodle. I really just wanted to practice some of my inking. So yeah, and I always figured he had a very long, pointy, prominent nose. And then I did another where he looks a little bit more psychopathic. The eye is just way off, but whatever. And kind of messier hair is what I was going for. And then I just kind of stopped everything here with like a picture of him like grabbing his own crotch and like, suck it, St. Canard sort of thing, because I imagine that that's how it is, but like he's got a stogie. Okay, I guess a stogie is a long cigar, and then a cigar is just like a shorter cigar, and then of course you've got your blunts. And the fact that I know all this is ridiculous, but it was just supposed to be a cigar, so whatever. But I used stogie later on, and then I realized, oh, I should look up what that word actually means. And yeah, because I remember in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I believe it was the baby was yelling about dropping his stogie. This picture, it was funny because I was working on this picture in Livestream, and when I was doing it in Livestream, everyone thought it was actually this way. So it kind of looked like a Marilyn Monroe thing, but it was actually, I was drawing it upside down, so it's a gravity thing, but it's Amy on a stripping pole, and then someone's making it rain. So I love Amy. She's just so much fun to draw. She's one of my favorites. And then I doodled a drinking Nega Piper, and it's funny because it's part of a role play, and I was going into the whole, vampires need blood in order to transport oxygen throughout their body, because their body lacks what is it that it's not iron, it's heme. So the oxygen can't, hemoglobin, so it can't connect to it. So that's why they need blood from other things, because as the blood cycles through their system, they're able to transport oxygen. So they could go a few days without eating, but it's like a painful thing to where the body goes into like these ischemic tremors and things like that. But because their bodies can't absorb its own, or transport its own oxygen, it needs another source. If they do things like drink alcohol, which is primarily transported through the it goes through the liver and then it goes to the body, their body cycles at it, like the normal average human body cycles blood at so many times per minute or something. I think it's like 60. Well, I guess a heartbeat, whatever. But point being is that they actually metabolize at a higher rate, so everything processes through their body at a faster rate. But since they can't breathe out toxins and things like that because, whatever, wow, I just lost myself. alcohol actually has a faster effect on them, and it takes less alcohol because their blood is super thick and it's not oxygen carrying, and it metabolizes faster, so it runs through their system faster. And the only way to get rid of it is to clean it out with more blood. It's kind of like when you put oil in a car, and that same oil will just keep cycling through and through and through until you take it out and replace it. Now she will burn through the oxygenated blood, but that alcohol is still like somehow not getting metabolized. I just had this big thing where like in order for her to stop being drunk, she has to drink more blood. So she's like drinking just one drink, and then she goes into like this permanent state of alcohol drunkenness. It's hilarious. Like, so much fun. Anyway, so that's my spiel on that. And I started doing more duck characters, kind of designing them, but I was kind of getting tired. So I went into this whole Johnny Bravo duck with a pompadour sort of thing. And then I was working over here with a different hairstyle. And then I don't know, went pelican. And then I was working on this guy. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it, but whatever. But then there is actually a picture here, but the marker on the other side kind of shines through, shows through. And then this is Piper in disguise as Missy LaBouche, and she's a blonde. Like, everyone's like, oh, is that a wig? Yeah, of course. Obviously, in the roleplay, it's a wig, but I figured that Piper would be good enough at doing makeup and things like that to disguise herself that it would actually look like natural hair, because it's a real wig, it's real hair. She doesn't get that cheap stuff. And I was like, whatever. But I think it looks pretty good. I think Piper makes a cute little blonde. And I kept her eye color the same. I thought about changing it with contacts, because everything had a reason. Like everything, obviously her body shape, her body color, like her feather color, her little part and everything, her little 3 prongs over here, everything there is all the same. The only thing that's different is her hair color and her eyeshadow color. And that was enough to change the appearance of the character to me enough that she didn't look like she was the same person, because she, you know, there she is right there as a brunette, and then here she is as a blonde with her hair up. So there you go. It is Piper, believe it or not. And yeah, I drew her exactly the same as I would draw Piper. I just changed a couple colors. And then there's Piper taking a bath, and she's a little bit beaten up because there's stuff going on with her right now, and she ain't got no man no more. So I imagine that, like, she has to work extra hard at everything, but since she's now financially, well, she was already kind of financially dependent, or independent, but more so now, and I'm thinking about changing her entire class altogether, taking her to a higher class area in St. Canard and things like that, but it's all in the works. But I figured that, you know, she probably has to start, if she's going to start doing the criminal stuff, which I think she is, she's going to start doing that more often now that she has a little bit more freedom to do it, that she's going to have to start proving herself a little bit more because, you know, thugs be thugs. So she probably has to crack some skulls every now and then. She doesn't like it. That's not her personality at all, but she's kind of in survival mode at this point because she's been left alone. So yeah. And she's got Lydia, so she's got to take care of her little girl. So chances are she's going to go into survival mode, and I think she's taking a more self-destructive approach that will eventually kind of level out to, you know, not so self-destructive, but for the time being she's going in a very self-destructive direction, and I'm trying to figure out ways around it, like something, I keep hoping something will pop up that'll make her change her mind on this, but I don't think it will. So there will probably be some banged up Piper pictures coming to a theater near you. Okay. This is a role play between me and Melicia's creator, Drunk Piper. Someone had to take her home. They couldn't just leave. Well, first of all, someone encouraged her to drink to begin with, and we won't name names, but once she was drunk, someone decided to be nice and take her home. So it's Melicia who ends up taking her home. And I don't know how the topic of orgy came out, but it did. So this is pretty much the response to it, is Drunk Piper whining about orgies, and Melicia's like, I ain't got time for this, because she's actually there for a reason. And yeah, fun times in the Negaverse. Got a little bit of a crying Piper over here. This I think is gonna come out in a role play at some point here pretty soon. I'm waiting for one other thing to wrap up, and then I'll probably go into this. And then we got a picture of Scarlett just being herself, kind of pulling her skirt down and just doing that tee-hee-hee porn stars like, oh, don't look at me, but totally look at me sort of thing. Scarlett. And then I was in another live stream just kind of putzing around, and one of my friends said, why don't you draw Jane from Tarzan? And I was like, okay. But it doesn't really look like Jane from Tarzan, so. Her body is like massive compared to her head. I just drew it way too big. I don't know why, but I did. Oh, c'est la vie. And then this is the 2 characters from Ore Monogatari, which I believe translates to my girlfriend or something like that. Which was an anime that I had seen and heard about a long time ago, but I never looked into because I was like, oh, I ain't got time for that. Well, I was kind of having a rough weekend again, so I not this weekend, but I want to say rough Tuesday and Wednesday, I think it was. So I kind of looked into it and I was like, oh, it's kind of cute. So I started watching it and it was really cute, but I haven't finished it because I'm studying now. And it's like, oh, I kind of want to finish it just to find out what happens. But it's a pretty cute anime. I enjoyed it. And I recommended it to somebody and they're enjoying it. So as long as somebody's enjoying it, I'm happy. And I was messing around with some ideas for Piper. I want to do like a side twist for her hair because it's so long that she could probably twist it and it would look really, really cute. And I was messing around with a short-haired idea for maybe another disguise, but I kind of gave it up. And I was in the middle of drawing Cherry, and I just kind of, I think at this point it was like 2 o'clock in the morning and I needed to go to bed because I had school the next morning. So I was like, all right, bedtime. So I just kind of gave up. And then I was going to draw Scarlett being completely filthy over here, and I just kind of got bored, so I didn't. And then I decided I was going to do Inktober, and this is where my Inktober sketches are starting. So the next 31 pages are going to be dedicated to Inktober. So what I actually do have in the other room is I have, and I think I started a sketch on purpose to pinpoint, yeah, right here. So this will be the end of my Inktober's. So I have the pages kind of spaced out so that way I know how many I need. There's 31 pages in between here. So my first Inktober I decided to do was Negaduck just because I felt like doing a picture of Negaduck. And yeah, this is where I made the Stogie reference, but you know, I'm not going to go too much into it because I plan on just scanning these later anyway. Number 2, I ended up doing Tarlock from Legend of Korra. I was kind of happy with how this turned out. I've never drawn Tarlock before, so you know, he turned out pretty hot. Super happy with that. And I forgot that, like, I should have made his hair a little bit bushier so you could see more of the hair tie back here, but it still turned out pretty good. And I was inking and Aaron opened the door and scared the crap out of me, so I made a mistake down here. I was like, ugh. So I had to hurry up and fix it. And then for 3, I did Koga from Inuyasha, because Koga is like my original husbandu or whatever, husbando. Not really. But, he was a character I always felt like never got enough attention. Like, he got some attention, but he didn't get enough attention. Because I felt like he was the Ryoga of, Inuyasha. And, like, I don't know, I felt like his role was super underplayed. I mean, he came out in the anime quite a bit, but then they completely changed the storyline, and I was like, why did you do that? But it's okay. It is what it is, but I always enjoyed the character, so I decided to toss him into my Inktober. And then I drew Toma from Ronin Warriors, Samurai Troopers, for those of you who, whatever, Japanese. He was always one of my favorites just because he was like the smart one, kind of the smart one. I think he was the smart one. Him and Seiji were super smart. But I think that they were supposed to be representative of actual Japanese culture, and I think like Kento was supposed to be from the Americas, and everyone was supposed to come from somewhere. But I guess it doesn't really matter. They probably were all supposed to be from Japan, and I'm just thinking too much of the American version where people kind of gave them their own ethnicities or their own countries of origin, whereas they all probably just came from different parts of Japan, if I recall correctly. But whatever. I doodled him. I'm going to probably do the other Ronin Warriors later on in the Inktober, just because I kind of ran out of ideas, and so I always go back to fan art. And then I decided to kind of do Criminal Piper, like descending into the depths of craziness and criminality. So yeah, this was fun to do though. I haven't done enough Pipers or Jades lately. And then I did a smoochie picture between my two OCs that don't have names still because I'm lazy. And I think it's funny because like she's super into it and he's like, yeah, doing what he's supposed to. He's not a good guy. Not a good guy. I've decided he's kind of a jerk. And then I did another Piper. I'm trying to move out because like if you notice, and I'm terrible for this, is I take the same camera perspective for almost every single picture. So it's like, okay, I need to start moving and shifting and putting things in perspective. Like this is still bad perspective, but I'm gonna go with it because it's all about evolving. So yeah, her head should actually be over quite a bit and actually be a little bit smaller. But it is what it is, and I'm gonna go ahead and ink it as is. And then that's it for the Inktober's so far. And then, hi Ninga Piper. I have this Legend of Korra as Korra and Asami. I'd started doodling it, but I kind of gave up. I was like, nyeh. So I just went back to doing my Inktobers. Yes, that's all there is. There's a lot of guys this time. I'm super happy about that because I feel like people don't think I draw enough men. And I do. I'm not as good at it as I am drawing females. So I got some males. I got some testosterone in this week's stream for your enjoyment. But there's a pretty equal amount of females in here too. But for Inktober, I'm hoping to kind of start shifting things around and doing different perspectives just to kind of have more fun with it. And I keep forgetting I'm holding a camera and I start bouncing my leg and it shakes the camera and I feel rotten for it. But yes, this I think turned out like super cute. But I need to wrap this video up because I have to go back to studying and I probably should eat some lunch because it is going on 3 o'clock, I think. It's after 3 and I have not had lunch yet. I only had a bagel today and I'm super hungry. But that's it for this week's videos. If you guys liked what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe, comment below, and I will see you in the next sketchbook review.